Moshi Moshi! My name is Sushikishi. I will be guiding you guys through the Chicory Colorful Tales speedrun today. We're going to be doing all bats on the 1.0 version, which means we're going to be playing on 1.0.0.50, which basically means this is the day one version of the game. And all bats stands for all bosses and trials. So we're going to be seeing all of the boss fights, as well as all of the trials that make up most of the second half of the game. What is my favorite food? Well, I get to pick my favorite food all the time for this run. So, what is your favorite food?
What is my favorite food, Sushikishi?
Yes.
Oh, let me go with pierogies, which would be Pierogi.
Yeah, I like pierogies too. Those are good. That's a good favorite food. That's a great name to go with. So I am ready to go. When you are, I will count down the run. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, go!
Woo!
This game has a handy dandy skip cutscene button. So when you see the screen flash like that, that means I am mashing that skip cutscene button. To skip through right now the intro, as well as some loud noises here at the start. We are playing pierogies today, and pierogies is a janitor in the Wheeler Tower. So before we can really start our adventure, we have to do our job there and clean up a little bit before we can pick up the brush, skip over the plot, and get our adventure started. First by going straight to the cafe, get ourselves a nice cup of coffee. I like iced coffee myself. See, I got boba tea today though, and then we're gonna skip right out of bounds there. It is as easy as it looks, and we're gonna see it again, so I'll cover it a little bit more detail next time. But the first minute of the run gets right into it. We're already to the third boss fight, if I've got the count right in my head. Third boss fight, and this boss fight is against... I do not have this timing down yet. Big reveal, it is against Chicory. So we're, fighting the boss that the game is named after. That means we're already at the end of the game. Fantastic. No, we're gonna have other boss fights to do. This would be the third boss fight in the game, and clearing this boss fight, regardless of what order you do it in, unlocks the ability to jump by using the brush to kind of pole vault ourselves, if you want to think about it that way, to new heights. And jumping is going to let us do a lot of different out of bounds tricks and do a lot more sequence breaking. Which is why it's very good to be able to get this. I walked right into it so early in the game.
I just love the fact, Sushi, that we're already on the third boss. It's like we're a minute 42 in this run. Third boss fight.
Yeah, this game, I don't necessarily always like comparing one game to another, because each game, especially a game like this, is so unique and does stand on its own. But there are parts of the game that remind me of two of my favorite games, which are Earthbound and Link's Awakening, which are also two games I happen to speedrun. And very much like the original Link's Awakening on that big old gray brick Game Boy, you can really dice the map in half and just sequence break quite a bit if you can just go out of bounds a little bit. You don't need to be able to like wiggle out of bounds very far or have a lot of movement, but just being able to move from one screen to the other in an unintended way really cuts the map in half, and you can just travel so much. It's very much like screen warping and the Kennel World in that particular game. But in fact, in non 1.0 categories, there actually is a screen warping trick that isn't used in this particular category, because I don't know if you can even screen warp in 1.0, but we're not using it for this particular run. We just have faster ways to move around the map. And you can see now I can jump, and I combine that with a save and quit. And when you save and quit in early versions of the game, it tries to find the closest safe spot to respawn you in when you load back in. And since I don't have the ability to swim right now, that lets me just cross around, jump across the water. Excuse me, just by trying to leap and get, roughly halfway across. It can't put me in the water, so it's just gonna send me on the other side of the river. I'm gonna go back into this cafe. Boom, and that's a cafe skip. You just kind of will yourself over by the plant there and push left, and it's almost like there's not a wall there at all. You'll just pop right through. It's super easy. And especially like right at the start of the run, since you do that right away, if that very pretty intro music stops playing before you get to the boss fight, you've probably already lost some time that you can get back just by resetting right there. Trying to hear in my headphones. Yep, I'm moving right to left. So we're already into this would be the first, not the first. I think it's the second dungeon in the game, but it's the first one I think of as a dungeon because it's the first one where you really have like multiple rooms and you have some serious puzzling to do. But this would technically be leading the way to the second boss fight. And you can see we're going through some pretty dark areas here. It sure would be nice if we had a way to light things up, right? Boy, absolutely. That would be nice. But now we're on to, whoa, I never got to respawn me over there before. That was weird. But now we're on to our second boss fight, which is against more big giant eyeballs. Gonna shake and vibrate and change to my favorite boss name in this entire game, the Night Hare. Oh no! I don't know if these have official names, but the Night Hare is what this boss fight is called in the pre-release build that had a chapter select built in for beta testing. Get it? Because it looks like a... Yeah. I thought it was clever.
Yep.
It's gonna wiggle its way over there, put up a nice big cone AoE marker for me to dodge. Like we're in Final Fantasy 14, get out of that. These single vines, I think, are the most dangerous ability. Oops, I gotta actually attack. What am I doing? I'm so busy jamming to the music, I forgot I gotta paint there. Let me fight the boss. But no, these vines I think are the most dangerous thing just because they do follow you pretty accurately. You wouldn't normally have the jump ability here. We do because we come out of order, of course. But you can't hop over the vines. Normally wouldn't have that option, and you'd have to make sure you're not putting yourself in a corner or something. But as far as difficulty goes in this game really does want to be played and enjoyed. There are lots of different difficulty options you can tweak as far as how much reaction time different puzzles need, how much health you have before the game forces a respawn. You can even turn damage off entirely if you want. And the game has a very, very handy built-in hint system, which gives you 2 levels of hints. It'll kind of give you some basic guidance. You know, this is where you should probably go next to do some investigating. And if you're just really lost, the game will just explicitly tell you, this is what you need to do. This is the solution to the puzzle. Please don't be stuck. Please go keep playing. I don't want to reveal too much. It does it in a very, I think, a very cute way. I really like all the presentation and little things in this game. The music, the wonderful music that I'm talking over, will keep pace with the boss fight. It'll change on phases. It fades very nicely from one phase to another. Just all the painting noises are really great. Everything's just super charming and fun in this game. And it's a black screen. Oh no! There's the brush. So I've unlocked the ability to swim on land. I have not unlocked the ability to turn the lights on. So I'm going to use my fill tool here. I'm going to swim on land. I should be able to find screen transition. I'm going to use the fill tool again here. And hopefully wiggle my way out. There we go. So there is glow-in-the-dark ink, and normally the first thing you unlock is the ability to lay down glow-in-the-dark ink. But we're doing our boss fights out of order, of course. Hello, there we go. And since we're doing these boss fights out of order, we actually can't unlock glow-in-the-dark ink. We're gonna fight the boss fight anyway. It is part of all bosses, but for whatever reason, in 1.0, doing that boss fight out of order means you don't get the glow-in-the-dark ink. I mean, I know the bid war was meant for the costume choice of Captain Timo, so we're going to take a little diversion here from what would be the intended speed route, I suppose. Take a little trip to 11's.
And I was actually about to say, we do actually have, since that bid war has gone and been taken care of, we do have a new bid war that has opened up for tomorrow. Wipeout Omega Collection, the ship manufacturer. You have 5 choices to pick from for a bid war, so that is your new bid war to throw your donations toward.
Let's see if I can handle a basic jump. So far, I'm 0 for 2. Hey, there we go. It's a gift. What's it gonna be? It's a cute backpack. Oh, and it's already green. Actually, not the color I want to pick, but we can pick colors here in a little bit.
Yes, indeed. And hello, actually, I want to say hello to our raiders from Supersonic. How y'all doing tonight? Hope you're having a wonderful time. This is Fast Paced for Headspace, a charity marathon that we're raising money for Take This, which is a mental health nonprofit that works in the gaming industry and game enthusiast community.
Maybe the most visible thing for Take This, at least the thing that I always think of when I think of Take This, are the safe rooms or the Afk rooms at conventions, especially at MagFest. I always end up there at one point or another in MagFest, even if it's just to step away and stop and look at the schedule. Like it's just, it seems like that's something that's really easy to do, but sometimes it's just all the hustle and bustle of a convention that can be pretty tough. And just in that little simple way, I take advantage of the things that Take This has to offer. But I know those Afk rooms are they are staffed and they are there as a safe and a quiet place for you to retreat from the convention without maybe having to go all the way back to your room, and also just to get any kind of assistance you might need.
100% correct, Sushi. That's basically what the Afk rooms are. If you've been to MagFest, if you've been to PAX, especially if you've been to PAX, they're very common there. There's a couple other conventions as well that I know that they've done them at. I think I think maybe DragonCon or MomoCon, I think were a couple of the other ones I remember. Not 100% sure on that, but yeah, they're basically, the Afk rooms are basically places where you can go that are kind of like safe, quiet spots if you need it, just a place to get away from the hustle and bustle. If you're having maybe a mental health issue, or you're just stressed, you just need someone to talk to or someplace to go to kind of to decompress, to de-stress. That's what they're there to do. They're staffed, as Sushi said, by professionals, so you can go and get help there. It's just, it's a great little thing that, I wouldn't even say great little, it's a great thing that they do, among other things that Take This does, which includes, they do a lot of workshops and the like within the gaming community, especially game industry, developers, publishers, stuff like that. Things like how to go through when you have issues with staff, mental health issues with people who might have dealing with depression or stress, dealing with crunch, things like that. And they also have their streaming ambassador program, which I've been part of since the start for the better part of 3 years, and just a team of mental health advocates that are out there, helping to get people connected with Take This and get connected with some of the various things that we do.
There we go. Got both part of our costume. We got our cute little backpack that Captain Timo will store all of his fun little mushrooms in, as well as our cute little fuzzy ears. Let me think. We gotta head back. And I'm not going over there. I'm gonna go and take the fast travel back to dinners. Oops. So it's the co-op tutorial. There we go.
Yeah, apologies if anyone's watching this and looking at all the names of the towns and people and they get very hungry because they're all food related.
That being said, if you're one of those people who's indecisive about what to get for dinner, you could just boot up the game and see who you run into, who's interesting to talk to, and maybe pick your dinner that way.
It's actually not a bad idea.
What are these steps? I had it. Had it and I lost it. There we go. Now, there's not actually a room next to this one, but there is a room diagonally next to that one. I might only bring that up because normally, even if you're out of bounds, you can only really move from room to room if there's one next door to you. Unless there's one just directly diagonal, you can move diagonally. And you can also move 2 screens at a time that way. It's a little bit more efficient to do it that way. I'm afraid you don't have to go out of your way to set that up too far. Oops. Oops. Go right. Get past the cutscene, then come down. There we go. Now you'll see there's actually 2 colors on the screen being painted. Did I miss one? No. That's right. They don't always line up like that for you there. And as I said, some parts of this game remind me of Earthbound, some parts of this game reminds me of Link's Awakening. This particular fight definitely reminds me of Zelda, because now we're fighting off against mirror pierogies or dark pierogies, kind of like the Dark Link fight. You can see that the boss will change color schemes when they kind of look like a sticker or a Paper Mario character like this. It means I need to use the enemy's brush against themselves. And then when they're kind of hollow like that, I have to use my brush to deal damage. Now right now they are synced up to my movements. But they won't always be synced up to my moves, especially later in the game. They may move a little bit more freeform. Hey! I can't really do anything to break the bubble except wait for AoE circles here. See, now they're not moving with me. And there's just a lot to look at on this fight. You have to keep track of the enemy position, you have to keep track of your position. I'm not saying I'm great at this fight, but I am saying this is such a fun fight.
It definitely looks fun, and definitely looks like something that you would have to spend maybe a little bit of time getting good at, because there's just so much to look at on the screen, so many little attacks, and it's very interesting how they've set this fight up. It's not super simple, but it's also not like very, very complex.
No, it does a lot with a pretty simple mechanic there for sure. I mean, the ability to swim on walls. We still cannot swim in the water. We can only really doggy paddle, which isn't just a pun. We really can only really doggy paddle into a little bit of shallow water, of which there's not a ton in this game. But now we're deep down in this cave system, and if we actually go out of bounds in this cave system, I actually get right to the next boss fight. But caves tend to be, shall we say, not well lit. We're in the city now. We're in this underground city called Feast. As soon as I get up here, now we got a different, now it's a different story. So let me get to the next screen. And right about here, aha! So right about here is a vine I can swim up to the next platform. The problem is, if I put paint on it, there's something right around here. I'm just gonna call them these little bugs will come out and eat my paint. And I can't climb up the vine unless there's paint in it. So I have to find me myself. Here I am. Find my vine. And swim up it before the ink disappears. I'm pretty sure I swam up there yet, but I can't find myself in the light, so I'm gonna go to the northwest corner here, jump, and if I hold left and the screen changes, good. First try every time, just like that.
Nicely done.
Skip cutscene. Right into the next boss fight here. Oh, and I skipped a bunch of splits. There we go. This is technically the first trial we're going to complete in the game. Of the 4 different trials in the game, it is the only one that has a boss fight at the end. And really the bigger part of this trial is all of the puzzling and platforming needed to get to this boss fight. Being able to go out of bounds in the cave system and jump right over here is a gigantic time save. There's just a lot to do to get to this room normally. And then you're greeted with a fairly long boss fight. And outside of that mirror fight, the boss fights aren't too incredibly taxing. The game really isn't about so much action and strict combat as it is about puzzling and platforming and just generally being cute and an interesting visual aesthetic to play around in. We're not going to see a lot of the painting mechanics and prompts in this game, but there is a lot of painting you can do if you're the creative type. This game's going to give you tons of outlets and different prompts and different ways to let loose and paint to your heart's content. Pretty much I want to say everything in this game is paint onable, and then you will get some canvas work that you can do as well. If you're not the creative type, I want to say even in a vanilla playthrough, I think all but a couple of prompts are completely optional. And for ones that aren't, you absolutely can just submit a blank canvas and say, yes, this is my work. This is definitely a self-portrait of me. It is a blank white canvas. And the game will not judge you harshly or otherwise penalize you for doing so. So if you're worried that maybe you don't have, if you're worried that painting's not really your thing, drawing's not really your thing, you don't know if you'd enjoy this game, it's not really a requirement at all. Using the brush and painting is the means to an end, but you do not need to put any creative energy into it beyond that if you don't want to. But I found that the game was just so enjoyable that I really did want to go through and do all the prompts and see everything there was to see.
And there's a lot to this game as well. There's, as you mentioned, Sushi, there's all these various little painting things you can do. There's a ton of little NPC missions too.
Yes.
And there's the stories with some of those are like some of the most like absolutely adorable things that I've seen in like the last year and a half. And I'm not really going to go too much into them because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
They're things that you really want to experience yourself, but they're worth all the hassle.
And also, just to be clear, there are also parts of the game that do get quite heavy. The game has very generous content warnings, seems like the wrong word, but the content warnings in this game are done very well. It'll let you know, you can turn them on and off as you want. It'll let you know with what kind of content or what kind of dialogue or conversations are coming up, so you can skip them as needed. And again, it also doesn't really doesn't penalize you in any way for using those. You'll just skip over the dialogue that you would want to skip over. But the game also handles whoops, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but the game does have some darker parts to it. It does deal with topics of depression and self-deprecation and things like that. So I don't want to say that the game's better or worse for that. I just want to make sure that people... let me dodge. I just want to make sure that you are aware of those things going in. It is a very cutesy, fun game overall. I don't want to make it sound like it should damper your expectations. But the game does take on the topic of mental health, especially in the space of being an artist or being a creator. It does take on that idea as a central part of the story. Whoa! Oh my goodness, let me just dodge. Hold on. Let me just keep my mouth shut for a minute. there. There we go.
Oh boy. There we go. Big old scary claws there.
Yeah, I like the claws though. I like the animation and the sound effects. This fight, if you haven't noticed, doesn't have any damage cycles in it. It's all about dodging. It's a very pretty and elaborate auto scroller, but it sure is fun to look at. Whoop whoop. Rawr. There we go. And don't mind too much the chapter names. The game thinks we haven't done any trials yet, but we haven't actually lost any progress. We're actually going to go and take on the first boss fight now. This is going to be the longest out-of-bounds trip in the game as far as going through the darkness here. Because again, I still don't I haven't even fought the boss that would give me glow-in-the-dark ink. That's what we're going to do next, but I'm still not going to have it after that fight. I clicked out of the game. It might take a second for OBS to catch up. I'm keeping an eye. Yep, I see it moving in OBS, so we're good. I may have gone one screen too far. Yeah, I was watching that and went one screen too far. Head back to the west. There I am. Trying to get in this bottom right corner over here. And this room. If I see me come over here, then we're good. I didn't get stuck in anything good. Then southeast one corner, or one room from here, is the first boss fight in the game against a big ol' eyeball. And it's gonna turn into some smaller eyeballs.
This game very much likes eyeballs.
Yeah, there's always something watching us, apparently. I don't know if... I know for most of the development process, there was a demo available. I don't know if that demo is still available now that the full game has been released. But I only bring it up because this is where the demo would end, is after this fight.
Yes, I remember that the demo ended right after this fight, so... I think the demo might still be out there. I'm just gonna actually double check right now, but yeah, the demo basically lets you play up to like this first boss fight.
And we basically skipped, definitely skipped everything you would do to get to this point, and all of the side content, of course. So if you're at all interested in this game, the only thing from the demo that you've already seen is that particular boss fight. That's it. None of the other content from the demo has even really been on screen. Just in passing. I'm gonna jump over here. It's gonna push me all the way over there. Save and quit. And the trials go by really fast. We already cleared that first trial earlier. This is the second trial. Normally we would need to go around this area, hop around, puzzle, platform, all this stuff to get 4 of these brush flowers, which have significant plot relevance. You're meant to travel around, pick all 4 of those up, but if you can somehow get over here without picking any of the flowers up, the game will just give them to you, and you don't have to pick any of them up. In fact, as we make our way out, you'll probably see some of them just in the background waiting to be grabbed. That one right there, for example. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Fast travel. There we go. Now we're going to head to Spoon's Island. This will be the 3rd of 4 trials. and then we'll save the mountain for last. Not just because the incentive was met. That's just how I do it. The order does not really matter though, especially if you have fast travel. And so we're going to Spoon's Island. I didn't say we were gonna do any part of the trial here though. We've just clipped through the exit. And this is the end of the trial. This is where we would do our self-portrait. Yep, that's it. We'll see if that pops up in the game sometime later. Continue playing. And that's it, we're done here. That, I believe, this part is by far the most heavy puzzling part of the game. It can take a little while to figure some of this particular trial out. But as I said, the game has a very handy in-game hint feature that really will just guide you. It'll give you a little nudge if you need it, and you can ask for more help if you need help past that, if you just want the solution. So you don't necessarily need to look up a walkthrough or anything if you don't want to. And that's just going to leave the mountain trial. Now, we are going to climb the mountain in bounds. We're not going to super swim up, but I'm just going to show off what a super swim would look like. And it's also a good excuse to not have to get to the mountain in bounds. Because I didn't say we're going to do that, I just said we're going to climb it. That is quite a bit of a walk around, having to get here vanilla, though. But you can see how I'm out of bounds over here? This would just be kind of like a super swim in Link to the Past. We just swim around out of bounds till we get to where we're going. Oops, where am I? Oh, look, we're pulling me all the way back over here. I gotta go back out of bounds. Okay. But we're not super swimming it today. Let me get back over there. As long as I don't swim, it should. Ooh. See, you gave it to me for free the first time, but I need to do it twice today, and now you're gonna give me a little bit of issue, a little bit of trouble. Not too much. Should pop me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, of course it's gonna give you trouble the second time, right?
There we go. Come on. This is the bottom of the map. Oh no, up here. Let me skip that cutscene. I think the game may actually crash if I watch that cutscene. I keep forgetting. This is the bottom of the mountain. We're gonna make our way up from here. I mean, even though we skip most of the rest of the game, of course, we are gonna see a lot of the painting and puzzling and platforming mechanics in the mountain. The mountain's a really interesting place. It's a lot of fun to climb up. It is quite long, especially your first trip up. Whoops. Watch the wind. It's okay, I haven't climbed this mountain before. Come on. There we go. So, I mean, how many of these clouds, it kind of turns into a little rain cloud for you. Come on. Then, of course, the wind mechanics will affect how far you do or do not jump. No patience. Wait for the wind. There we go. Wait for the wind. You're gonna hear me say this about 1,000 times on the way up. Just remind myself I have to actually play the game and wait for the wind in this one. Close enough. That's a little pit stop, but we're gonna skip the cutscene there. Ah. Up, up. Ow, come on. I think I still got it. Nah, we're good. Nice, alright. Good. Come on.
I like how the clouds in the background are getting colored in too.
Yeah, everything can be colored in this game. The background, the clouds in the background. Oh, wait. See, I didn't mutter it to myself, and I got antsy. Come on. Wait. Left. Wait for wind. Right. Whoosh. I don't know why, but this fountain in particular gives me so much trouble. Oh yeah. There we go. Then you gotta make sure you're waiting for the wind after you get in it too. That one cloud really does give me more trouble than anything else in this game. As far as the platforming is concerned. And like even the out of bounds in the dark stuff, I mean it takes some practice, but you can practice your way through that. That cloud just gives me fits. So I'm glad we weren't stuck there for too long and didn't get to show off how much trouble it usually gives me. Up. One more screen. Skip the cutscene. And we're going to skip a fantastic cutscene up here. There is a nice musical number waiting for you up here at the top of the mountain to celebrate your long climb up here. And that is all 4 trials completed. We've fought, we've cleared all the trials. We've fought all the bosses up to this point. All that is left is the last boss fight in the game. So let's go. There we go. Ooh. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in Summer Springs, and this is all we're going to see of it in this run. Unfortunately, I should pick up 100%. I'm gonna be honest, I did get to do some bug testing and help out with the game a very, very little bit. I don't want to make it sound like I did a ton of work, but I did get to help bug test this game before it came out. So I played a ton of it, and then since it's come out, I haven't just played through the game casually. So I haven't actually seen anything in Summer Springs, what it looks like in the release version. There's quite a bit of this game I haven't actually seen after the release date. Because I've just been having so much fun with the speedrun.
The old speedrunner's dilemma. You know? Yep. There's a lot of cool stuff in this game, but I don't get to see any of it because I'm playing as fast as I can and I have to skip everything.
I just need to do a casual playthrough again. I'm just waiting for the game to tell me, there we go, tell me I've been lost for long enough there. I haven't been doing it in this run because it is a little bit hard on the eyes, but the skip cutscene button also works on screen transitions. There's, the game will like very nicely, prettily fade the game in and out every time you change screens. That's technically a cutscene that's skippable, but if you mash in a skip cutscene button, that is kind of hard on the eyes. I only bring it up because when you're trying to get lost there, the code that actually counts how long you've been lost is part of the screen transition. So if you're mashing skip cutscene there, theoretically you could be stuck there literally forever because you're just skipping over the one line of code that would move you on to the next part of the game. So don't do that. You want to mash skip cutscene on every screen except for that one particular part of the run.
That's actually really good to know. Do not get stuck in this infinite loop.
But we're very sad now. We tried to do that last boss fight, right? And then we no longer have the brush now. We're very sad. I can't jump, I can't swim, I can't draw, I can't do anything right now. Just have to slow walk back to town. Everybody's worried because things look bad. World may or may not be ending.
It's very
This
dark
is an
out in the middle of the day.
unskippable cutscene. So if any donations come in, if you want to talk about the charity, this is a good time to do it.
Absolutely. We don't have any donations right now, but this is a good reminder that we do have a couple of open incentives. Just to mention them again. I know we've mentioned them a few times, but if you've just joined us, welcome. We do have, for Fast Pace for Headspace, we do have an incentive for tomorrow. We have an early run of Sonic Adventure DX, and if you want to see Big the Cat Story, we do have a $250 incentive. We're at $115.97, so we're roughly about halfway there. Still got pretty much all the way until the end of Sonic Mania tomorrow morning to get that unlocked. We've also got the Wipeout Omega Collection's ship manufacturer bid war. There's 5 different choices to pick from for that. And of course, just a reminder, you can put the full amount of your donations toward both a target and a bid war here. You can do that through Tiltify. Don't have to pick one or the other. You can do both if you want to.
Alright, now we're ready to go do final boss fight. For real this time.
I do love the fact that story-wise for this game, it's like, hey, you lost your brush. You just made a brand new one, and everyone's like, you can do that? That's on eyeballs.
The soundtrack to this game was composed by Lena Raine, who has the music for Minecraft, for Guild Wars, for what is the game? Little Big Planet, and as well as Celeste. The soundtrack's absolutely fantastic. And I want to caveat. I know her tweet talking about this mentioned, I believe the Minecraft music is an exception. But Lena Raine does allow you to use all of her music. Wow, let me focus. Let you use all of her music for streaming purposes. So I stream a lot. I use Chicory music a lot in my background for streaming and things like that. I mean, all of her work is absolutely fantastic. All the games I just listed off have really good, really famous, well-loved, much remixed, much beloved soundtracks. And this game is no exception to that.
Also has contributed to some of the soundtrack for Deltarune as well. So that's another game you may know. Yeah, Deltarune Chapter 2.
What? I didn't know that.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, which track? Let's see, now I gotta go look. I'll have to see which tracks. See, here's our old friend Dark Evil Pierogies again. I will say, I feel like for this particular, on the first patch, it feels like it's a little off sync as far as where my brush is and where the mirror brush paints. It feels like it's a little off sync. But it should just be a couple more hits. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Now that he's mirroring my movements, actually can set up. Ooh. I shouldn't have picked that particular spot, I suppose. But you want to let the little stars explode and deal damage to evil pierogies to knock them off the brush, and then you can start to deal damage. There we go. Now we're repeating the boss fight against Chicory. Now it really is the final boss fight against the person on the title screen, right? But I can't seem to hit them! This is bad. If only there was somebody here to help me. Man, one of these days I'm gonna learn the timing on this. If only there was the... Hey, look at that! How convenient that is. So now we're going to fight this boss fight 2-on-1 with our good best friend Chicory here to help us. It's very important not to get them mixed up, obviously. What I'm waiting for is Chicory to try to throw out that bind attack and tie up the boss so I can deal damage. Otherwise, it's just, I can make the boss dance around a little bit. Otherwise, I just have to wait. You could not give me that one, game. You couldn't give me that one. That one looked good. That's fine, we'll take this one. Screencast logo. Oh yes, I got them mixed up there for a second. There we go. Again, we're just waiting for the crowd control to land, and then we can deal our damage. Alright, you gotta swing this time. Nice! So, Evil Back right here is gonna get smart here in a minute and actually start counterattacking a little more directly. There we go. So you gotta make sure you help out Chicory here and get Chicory loose. Nice. Here's the quick counterattack there. That was nice. And on to the third phase. Oh! Get out of the gooey. Swing, 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 Chicory. Swing, paint. There we go. That should do it for this phase. Unless I paint it really badly. And now we're on to the last phase of the game. Now, technically speaking, the time will stop as soon as the last hit is dealt. At that point, you would stop the timer, you'd hit the skip cutscene button and skip right to the credits. That is such a sudden ending that I'm actually just gonna let the little ending sequence play out. It's not long, I just don't want to, technically speaking, the timer will stop with like this hard crash to credits, and it's just a little sudden. Just because I'm not super worried about the time today, because we did do the incentive just for cinematic effect. We'll let the dying animation play out, and time is going to be when the screen fades completely to white, probably after 3 damage cycles. This will be the first one. And as long as my damage output is good and I don't miss anything, it should just be 3 cycles. If you do any optional item collecting, some of the stamps and decorations that you pick up may appear in this part of the game as well. But we just have the stock options, so some of these attacks are going to be repeated a little bit. As far as the patterns that we see and the stamps that are used. Nice.
And we do actually have a A $5 donation from Anonymous. Thank you very much.
Oh. This should do it. Let's go. And that's time. That's 49:25 on my timer. And then the credits and a little bit of cutscene and stuff in the credits that we won't go to. Don't want to spoil all of the game for you if you just came in late. That is it for Chicory, Colorful Tale. If you play on console, there's a separate leaderboard for we call it current patch. But so if you're playing on console and you can't down patch, I don't know because I don't have a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. There is a category for you. It'll look a little bit differently than this run. You have a different set of tricks at your disposal, but that category is also well routed out. If you're the completionist type, the 100% category, I know there are runs on the leaderboard. I don't know how well defined that run really is. And I've been working on, for PC at least, a tracker to let you know what items you have missed that would run live, like on a second screen. And that's actually my first project that I'm learning, channeling a little bit of Python in, but I haven't been able to get back to that in a little bit, so I should finish that up at some point.
That's pretty cool.
But you can get a link to the Chicory Discord at speedrun.com. You can also see the game again at Games Done Quick, coming up in January, where you'll see this category again. That'll be All Bats 1.0. And if you're just interested in painting games, drawing games, or just a game with a different type of mechanic, we got to see a lot of speed tick in this game, but we didn't get to show off a lot of the unique charms of this game. If you like to paint and draw and you haven't found a lot of video games to do that in, this is a good one to do it in. Or if you just want to play a different kind of puzzle platformer, this is a good game to do it in. And if you are a big fan of like Earthbound or Link's Awakening, you'll see a lot of things in this game that will remind you of some of your favorite games, if those are on your list, like me. But thank you for inviting me. I'm glad I got to show this off and raise some money for Take This. And enjoy the rest of the weekend. The schedule is absolutely loaded this weekend. We got a whole weekend full of runs. So do donate to the incentives, the bid wars that are coming up, and enjoy the rest of the event.
Absolutely, and thank you so much, Sushi, for showing us this run of Chicory. It's really fun to watch. It's a great game to play, just in general. Especially, it fits really within the whole mental health thing that we've been talking about all day. And it's good game, good run. Looking forward to seeing this at GDQ on the big stage, I guess you can say. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you for inviting me and for meeting the Climb the Mountain incentive too. That's always fun to show off.
Absolutely. All right, and I think, ladies and gentlemen and non-binary pals, that is going to be our last run for the evening. So we're going to start to wrap things up here on day one of Fast Pace for Headspace. So, well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you all for being here. It's been a wonderful marathon so far, and we got 2 more days to go. So come on back tomorrow for sure. We've got some wonderful games. In fact, let's talk a little bit very quickly about some of the things that are coming up tomorrow, if we can.
We are starting off bright and early at I say 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern for me, with a Sonic block. It looks like.
Yes, we are. I think we're gonna transition here in just a moment, and then I believe we'll fire.